What is up, everybody? This is Anthony with VR365. What is going on? It is Saturday. It is January 5th. It is high noon. And you know what's kind of interesting, folks, is, hold on here. I need to pop my Chizat out here. What's kind of interesting here is we got a lot of people in chat right now, and didn't you guys get the message? VR is dead. VR is dead. What are you guys doing? Like, pack up your bags and go the F home. Why are you here? This is VR365, and it's dead, so what are you doing here? But anyway, yeah, we will get into that very shortly. VR is dead again. That is the title. And we'll get into that. We will definitely get into that. But yeah, there's a lot of people in chat right now, which is pretty sweet. Kev Gretz says, "Go Seahawks! Beat those loser Cowgirls! Yeah, buddy! Go Seahawks! Come on, baby! Yeah, baby!" All right. And Lethal Weasel VR says, "I'm not digging the Seahawks shirt. Come on, Anthony. You're in Cali, bro." Yeah, you know what happened is, it's funny because the Seahawks are playing the Dallas Cowboys. When I was a little kid, I was a Dallas Cowboys fan. It was all about Roger Staubach, Tony Dorsett, Tony Hill. I was even Randy White. You know, I was a fan. Ed Too Tall Jones. I was a fan of the Dallas Cowboys way back in the days. But you know what? They started to really suck. And they were really horrible for like 4 years in a row. And I was a youngster at that time. And I decided to ditch them. And I jumped on another team because they had really nice uniforms, and they were called the Seattle Seahawks. And I stuck with them all the way through. And dude, the Seahawks sucked for like years and years. For decades upon decades, the Seahawks sucked. And I was a Seahawks fan. And then they won. Yay, we won the Super Bowl. We actually won a Super Bowl. We also gave one away. I don't want to talk about that. But anyways, yeah, that'll be a little bit later tonight. The Seahawks are in action. To be completely honest with you guys, I used to be a crazy hardcore NFL fan, and I hardly watch it at all anymore. I just don't have time. It's not that I don't like it. I just don't have time. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into something that we like to call virtual reality. Virtual reality. Okay, so let's see here. So the number one topic I wanted to get into quick, I mean, obviously we will get into this discussion of VR being dead. We will get into that, but we have a few other things to get into before we go down that road. Let's see here. So first of all, I wanted to talk about the Steam users, okay? So the number of Steam users that are out there, we have gotten some numbers in, and so now we can look back at the entire year of 2018. And at the very beginning of 2018, Steam VR headsets were about 0.4% among Steam users. Less than a percent, 0.4. And now that the year 2018 is in the rear view mirror, we have basically doubled up. We are at 0.8%. So at first, you know, you might see some of these headlines that Steam users have doubled. Steam VR, you know, VR users on Steam have doubled in 2018. And technically that is true. So this is cause for wild celebration, right? Let's party. Not exactly. It is a bit sobering information when you really get down to it, because like Ars Technica, they kind of had a story on this, and they were talking about how the number of users on Steam that have VR headsets is very, very similar to the number of users on Steam that are using Linux. So what does that mean? That means we are a niche of a niche. Yes, VR is pretty small. So maybe VR is dying because, you know, we are a niche of a niche. But we'll get into that right now. There's basically around 90 million monthly active users that are on Steam. So if you go ahead and do the numbers, that translates into about 720,000 that have a VR headset. I thought we'd be at about 1 million. 1 million Steam VR users, but we're a little bit shy of that, it appears. Now, Oculus Rift, in terms of like the overall numbers, like what headsets are the most popular, Oculus Rift is at 46.45%. You got HTC Vive at 40.82%. And you got Windows Mixed Reality just below 9%. And then if you drop below that, you got like Oculus Rift DK2 and other stuff like that. So that's kind of where we're at right now with Steam VR users. Yes, it has doubled up, but our percentages are still incredibly low. We are kind of a niche of a niche. It is a true reality. It's a bit unfortunate, but you know, that is kind of the reality that we're in right now. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to get into real quick is I do have a couple of trailers actually that I wanted to throw on the screen here. We'll definitely get to that discussion of VR being dead soon enough, but there was a trailer that was mentioned yesterday on Upload VR called Bionic Mayhem VR, and this game kind of has a bit of a Streets of Rage vibe, and it's going to be coming to VR headsets in the very near future. And I have the trailer now, so why don't we go ahead and take a look at this trailer real quick, and we can talk about it right when we get back as we continue to move through our Saturday show. So let me go ahead and let's see, where is the trailer? Oh, here it is. Bionic Mayhem VR. So let's go ahead and check this baby out. Okay, this trailer is extending a little bit longer than I would like it to. Should have ended about 20 seconds ago. Okay, there it goes. Bionic Mayhem. Bionic Mayhem VR. Have you always wanted to experience Streets of Rage 2 in VR? Well, you still can't, but this is slightly close. So, Bionic Mayhem VR. I mean, seriously here, look at this. You want to tell me that VR is dead? You want to tell me that VR is dead? Look at this incredible VR game right here. I mean, we are so jazzed. We've got Streets of Rage VR coming very soon here. It does look a little bit Streets of Rage-ish. Watching this trailer, I don't know. The animations are a little bit janky. Not the smoothest animations. That kind of reminds me of Serious Sam 3 there for a second. But yeah. I played Bloody Zombies in VR. Did anybody play Bloody Zombies? It was kind of a side-scrolling beat-em-up. Now, it didn't quite have this kind of overhead-angled perspective that we're seeing right here. It was a little more of a side-angled perspective, but I enjoyed Bloody Zombies. I thought it was fun, and honestly, after playing Bloody Zombies, I kind of was thinking, you know what, we need a lot more of this. And especially, like, if only Konami actually made games again, then maybe we could have Castlevania done like Bloody Zombie style or kind of Witchblood style. And we could do some action platforming, some side-scroller action in VR where you kind of get that diorama. You kind of get that diorama feel. Now, I'm not sure exactly how Bionic Mayhem is going to work. We could possibly have all kinds of different vantage points. You know, maybe they could go straight up first person. We might have straight up first person views. We might have some angled views, some side swipe views, some overhead style views. So it's possible we're going to be able to move the camera around a little bit with this. Animations are a bit janky. I don't know. This does look quite indie, but it could be interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over here to our Webby browser. Oops, that is a future story that I need to get into here. Whoops. Let me see here. Where am I at? I'm in the wrong spot. Okay, hold on one second, folks. Okay, Bionic Mayhem. Here it is. Okay, so all we have here is this website called Bionic Mayhem, Home News Contact. Not a lot of information on here. You can go ahead and throw your email in there. You can say what VR device do you want to play Bionic Mayhem on. They do have PSVR down there. I don't know that this is coming to PSVR. Okay, let's go ahead and read this. A VR adventure you've been waiting for. Follow the adventures of Brad, Bionic Research Assistant Drone, and 3 misfit scavengers as they set out to save humanity in a post-apocalyptic future. 6 massive worlds await you, containing a total of 24 levels. That's quite a bit in this unique adventure that combines the best of 2 worlds. Brawl your way through stunning levels with one of the 3 main characters on levels in the style of classic side-scrolling beat-em-ups. Raise bullet hell using Brad's various weapons on first-person shoot-em-up stages, or do all at once, fighting back-to-back on epic boss battles. Bionic Mayhem is coming to PC VR-based systems in Q3 2019, followed by a PSVR release in Q4. Okay, so that's interesting. So it looks like they're going to have they're going to also have some bullet hell stuff going on where you're using various weapons in a first-person shoot-em-up stages. So it looks like they're going to mix different types of action here. And it apparently is coming to PlayStation VR. It's just going to be a little bit behind on the PlayStation VR release. Okay, so that is Bionic Mayhem VR. So just wanted to take a look at this really quick, and it looks like something we can keep our eyes on. Nothing that we're going to be super hyped on, but definitely we'll keep our eyes on that one. Okay, another game that a trailer has recently come out that I wanted to highlight real quick here. Let me go ahead and grab this other trailer. Let me see, what is this game? Okay, so this one is called Tabletop Gods. And I know that this is going to be coming early this year to Steam. Let's go ahead and check this trailer out. It is called Tabletop Gods. We just got an official trailer like just the other day. Let's check this one out. All right, that is Tabletop Gods. That is by Ghostfish Games. Ghostfish Games, gotta love it. So many interesting developer names out there. This is for desktop, PC, and VR, so you can play it flat screen mode if you want to go ahead and do that. You get to choose your troops. It does look a little bit Brass Tactics-like. a little bit like Skyworld, maybe a smaller area that you're working with here, a little more like Skyworld maybe than Brass Tactics. But yeah, this looks kind of cool. Tabletop Gods. And let's see, we can go ahead and switch over here to the Steam page. And this is the Steam page right here for Tabletop Gods. We can see that this has a release date of Q1, so sometime hopefully in Q1 here. Lead your troops in explosive arcade action battles that rage across tabletop battlefields. Command your troops, set fiendish traps to surprise your enemy, bolster your defenses, and wield powerful magic to destroy your opponent as you compete for power in the heavens for desktop, PC, and VR. And this does say HTC Vive Oculus Rift is supported. Tabletop Gods is coming to a PC near you soon. Okay, so that is Tabletop Gods. This is another game we could keep our eye on as a possible, I don't know if this is going to hit in January, but we might get it in February or March as a Q1 release. So we will keep our eye on that one a little bit. Okay, now, before we move on, there's another game that I wanted to highlight real quick that I was just taking a look at random Steam games that are coming up soon. We don't have a lot of news going on. It's kind of a light time in the VR gaming world right now. That's kind of why this VR is dead is such a big deal, is because we just don't have that much news going on. So if there's something that we can talk about, if there's something that rallies the troops, it gets a lot of love and a lot of hype. And I think that's why this VR dead thing has blown up to the level that it has. It's just, we don't have a lot going on here. So anything of any real notoriety is going to get a lot of publicity. But one thing I like to do every once in a while is look at some of these games that are flying way the hell under the radar. And every once in a while, we're going to have a hidden gem that comes out of nowhere. I recently talked about Battle Mage VR. I don't think that's a hidden gem, but that is one of these games kind of that I'm talking about here. But one game that I saw that I thought looked kind of interesting here is this game called Sunset Giant. Okay, this game is called Sunset Giant, and this looks incredibly indie. Very, very indie. I do not have a trailer for this game. All I have is a Steam page and a number of screenshots. But I just think it's kind of cool because I've always wondered, why don't we have more of these games? Like in VR, it seems like it would be absolutely perfect for you to be Ultraman or for you to be some kind of giant Godzilla kind of thing. And we haven't gotten a lot of games that have done this too much. We do have Giant Cop. We do have Mighty Monster Mayhem. There's a number of games that kind of do this, but this is called Sunset Giant. It says Sunset Giant is a VR game that fights big monsters while running through a virtual city illuminated by the sunset. So it's a game. So the game actually fights big monsters. So I don't know. That sounds kind of weird to me. The developer is Ninja Nix, and I kind of looked it up. And it's like a Chinese, Japanese, or Korean developer or something like that. It's all in a foreign language. I couldn't really read it. So I don't know really what we have going on here, but we can take a look at some of these screenshots. Does look pretty darn indie. I do like that sunset, though. That does look like a very beautiful sunset. Okay, you've got Giant, Twin Giants, Big Eye, Unknown. I wonder if these are the different stages that you're going to encounter. But I mean, yeah, this is probably, there looks like another creature that you're going to be battling there. But that is Sunset Giant. And yeah, I was right here. I was looking at upcoming games, Indie VR. You can see Darrell Valley there is getting ready to launch. But I happened to see this game called Sunset Giant. I clicked on it. Supposedly January 2019, so this could come out at any particular time. Sunset Giant is a VR game that fights big monsters. Okay, so the game is fighting monsters. Your weapon is disposable plasma cannons, only 3 loaded. Pick up this weapon on the ground or buildings and attack monsters. The move operation is simple, with little possibility of VR sickness. Since monsters chase you while destroy buildings, hide behind the building and wait for opportunities to attack back. There you go. So I don't know if they proofread that too many times, but that is Sunset Giant. a crazy game that we will keep our eyes on in the background. All right, so we went over a couple of little things. Okay, I've got one more minor thing before we get into the VR is dead discussion. So let's see here. Let me go back to the Webby browser setup over here, and where's the story that I wanted to go to? Okay, so this was a story just the other day. It was on Road to VR, and I didn't happen to talk about it because I hadn't clicked on this yet. I hadn't read anything about it, and so I kind of wanted to know a little bit about what the heck this was before I talked about it. But this is something that we found out about. So there's a USB-C VR extension adapter that is coming for Oculus Rift and Windows mixed reality headsets. It's coming from this company called Acel. Now, what exactly does this do? Well, basically what it does is it condenses the Oculus Rift or Windows mixed reality cables into a single USB-C cable, and it extends the tether. So what this does is it accepts regular HDMI and typical USB-A cables from like a Rift or a Windows mixed reality headset, and it condenses them into a single USB-C cable that will be attached to any USB-C equipped NVIDIA RTX GPU, and also some NVIDIA laptops with USB-C compatibility. Acel does not note support for any AMD GPUs, and this also will not work with the HTC Vive because you need a separate power adapter to power your Vive headset. However, I know there's a lot of us, right? There's a lot of us that have Oculus Rifts or Windows mixed reality headsets, and we feel like our cables aren't long enough, and we kind of want an extension for our cables. And this is coming out on January 14th for $50. It's available from Amazon and directly from the company's website. $50 sounds like quite a bit, but it does give you this extension which runs about 13 feet or so. So it's giving you an extra amount of leeway there to move away from it. Now the problem though is you need an NVIDIA RTX GPU. So I guess this is not going to... So we have to have one of the newest NVIDIA GPUs to be able to use this, right? Or could it be possible that we have a motherboard, like a motherboard that supports USB-C? I don't know. I just bought a recent motherboard that is... it's an MSI motherboard from 2018 for Ryzen, right? Maybe it has a USB-C connector on it. I don't even know if I can use this cable without buying a new GPU, but it would be nice to have some kind of extension. So there is that. I just wanted to report on that really quick. Okay, so that basically takes care of pretty much all of our initial things that I wanted to deal with right here. We can go ahead and bounce over to Road to VR. This is Upload VR, excuse me. We can give this a quick refresh here to see if there's any little last minute stories, but no, I didn't really see anything here. One of the things I did want to mention though, is apparently, now I don't know why Oculus is not shouting this from the rooftops, and they haven't made a major announcement about this as far as I'm aware, but apparently the Oculus Rift has a new price. And this new price is $349.99. Like, this is not a sale. This is the new price. At least that's what some people are saying. I don't know that we actually have confirmation of this. If we did, you'd think there would be a story. Oculus Rift drops the price, $50. The new price is $349 everywhere. You can go to Amazon. You can go to Best Buy. You can go to... Newegg, you can go everywhere around there. The Oculus Rift is $349.99. This is the new price. Is this true? Is this actually legit? I don't know. Now, Charles Van Nolan says it's been $350 for a while now. Yeah, I know that there's been sales over the holidays, but you would think if you're dropping your MSRP, manufacturer's suggested retail price, if you're dropping that, that's usually in an announcement. That's usually a pretty big announcement. Why isn't this on the Oculus blog? New lower price for Rift. We dropped it $50. This is the new MSRP. So that would mean if this is the new MSRP and it's $350 everywhere, then eventually we're going to have some deals where we get it for $299. It's going to be on sale for $299 if $350 is the standard price. So I don't know if this is like a straight up price drop or not. It's still kind of nebulous here. Now, we got people in chat that are saying, no, it's not a sale. I Am Rhett says, Anthony, bro, go to Best Buy. It says price drop. It says that it's at $350. Lethal Weasel VR says they are selling off stock before they announce Rift Plus. No, you know what it is? VR is dead. VR is confirmed dead, so they're just getting rid of these babies. They're just clearing inventory. You know, it's all over. Everybody's packing their bags and they are taking off. And Charles Van Nolan says, since November. It's been this way since November. And Jim Hall is arguing a separate point. He says, hey man, wait a minute. It's not $350 because it was back at $400 the other week. And Jim Hall knows what he's talking about because he might be in the market. He might really be in the market to grab one of these headsets. He's going to try to wait till CES next week, which is a very smart decision, actually, to be honest. Wait for CES. That is a smarter decision there. Wait and see. Wait and see if LG has an announcement. Wait and see if HTC has some kind of announcement. Get a little bit more information, but then go ahead and grab yourself a Rift, maybe to hold you over until that true next-gen headset that comes down the pipe. All right, so another topic that we can go to is I have a tweet. It's the tweet of the day, ladies and gentlemen. No, I don't do tweet of the day, but I should. I should do tweet of the day, shouldn't I? So let's go to our tweet window. Okay, here is our tweet window, and there is a tweet that I want to report here. So this is Cliffy B. Cliffy B. Dude Huge. He's also known as Dude Huge. Cliffy B, number of different nicknames. Of course, this is Cliff Bleszinski. Obviously, he was with Epic Games for an incredibly lengthy period of time. He was the guy behind Gears of War and all of that. He's the guy that would walk on stage with a giant gun or whatever. And one of his questions that he's asking out there, is there a killer VR app or game yet? So he just tweeted this back on January 1st, and a number of people jumped in and commented, and I thought this was an interesting question to be posed. What do you guys believe? Do you believe that there really is a killer VR app? And I have an answer to that question, but before I get to my answer, let me go back over here to our Webby browser, and what we could do is we could bounce over here to this is where he asks it, is there a killer VR app or game yet? And we have a number of different people are weighing in. So this is Ryan McCaffrey. Last I heard, Ryan McCaffrey was working at IGN. He was kind of the head of the Xbox part of IGN. I don't know if he's still there or not. But here's what he's saying. No killer apps means nobody buys the hardware. Nobody buys the hardware means no killer apps. In my opinion, there are a lot of really good games, but I'm waiting for second-gen hardware and or native wireless headsets, not the Oculus Go. I'm shocked we're 3 years in and no sign of Vive 2 or Rift 2. That is a bit shocking. I kind of agree with Ryan McCaffrey on a couple of those points, and Cliff Bleszinski's like, right, yeah, right. And then this guy says RE7 plus Astro Boy are really, really solid VR games. Mikey Barra, this guy, I believe, works for Xbox, right? No, Google Earth is cool, but not even close to what is needed to make the tech worthwhile. Sigh. Okay, sigh. So, a number of people are talking about, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Nothing to see here. Yeah, nothing at all to see here. We got plenty of killer apps. Just ignore them. And here's a tweet from Cliffy B. Cloudhead Games popped this one up. This was Cliffy B way back on August 31st of 2015. He says, Call of the Starseed might be a VR killer app. Mist for VR. Very cool demo. Great folks building it. Super nice. So that was way back in August of 2015. And Cliff says, yeah, I said might. And y'all are doing fantastic work over there. So anyway, Palmer Lucky checks in. Depends on your definition of killer app. Yeah, so a lot of people are checking in. This guy, Bert Sayan, says Astrobot, Beat Saber, Tetris Effect, please, and Moss for PSVR. Yeah, so everybody is weighing in. Everybody has a different opinion there. That is Cliffy Busy, Cliffy B-Boy. Cliffy B-Boy, so what is your take, folks? Do we have a killer app? Let me go ahead and check over here in chat, see what folks are saying about that. Lethal Weasel says there's 10 at least. Shirzad Khan City says Contractors. That's the killer app right there, bro. Let's see. King Hell says tell him Bionic Mayhem. Not quite. Kev Gret says Astrobot, RE7, Wipeout, Firewall. Charles Van Nolan says Cliff doesn't know anything. Otherwise, he wouldn't make games that fail so hard. Ouch. Cliff is a blowhard. Lost a lot of respect for him. That is Kev Gret. And Bed and Cat says, does there really need to be a killer app? Do we need one? How about the whole system? How about VR as a whole is a killer app? How about the fact that you're in the freaking game, bro? You're in the game. How about that is that really is the killer app. That should have been the killer app. Like really, when it comes to VR, all you should have to tell somebody is, you should just say, but bro, you're in the freaking game. No, you're like, here's the game, here's you on a couch playing the game, VR, you're in the game. Like, you're literally in the freaking game. Like, people don't get this. That should be all we need, is you're in the effing game. You're in the goddamn game. But apparently that's not enough. Because if it was enough, we would have 3 million people on Steam that are using VR headsets, and we don't. We have 720,000 according to math. Okay, so Greg's VR says if Contractors was Call of Duty VR, it would be huge. Like if that was the name, like if all they did was say, hey, this is Call of Duty VR, it's made by Infinity Ward, and all they did was put Contractors in there and they changed all the graphics and just said, hey, this is Call of Duty VR, everything would be good. Maybe that's a possibility. That's interesting. Main Fan says Beat Saber is the only killer app candidate. Okay, so what's my personal feeling about this killer app thing? Let me go ahead and switch this trailer up just because I don't want to give too much love to Tabletop Gods. You know, I like Tabletop Gods and everything, but don't want to give them too much love. So let's back off that a little bit. Okay, so here's my take on the killer app question. It's really, really simple. If you have to ask yourself, is there a killer app? You don't got a killer app. Because if you got a killer app, you don't ask the question. Like, there's no question. If you have a killer app, there's no question. It's obvious. We don't have a killer app. We have a lot of big games that are freaking awesome. We've got Beat Saber is a very primetime game. We've got Skyrim VR. We've got Fallout 4 VR. We've got Red Matter, baby. No, but we have some really good games. But if you've got to ask the question, you don't have a killer app. So we don't have a killer app quite yet. Beat Saber is probably the closest thing. It really is probably the closest thing we have right now at this current point in time. But no, we do not have a killer app. We do have a number of games that are borderline. But if they were killer apps, we're not asking the question. Even Astrobot isn't a killer app, I don't think. Although it's pretty goddamn close. It really is. Astrobot, Wipeout VR, Skyrim, Fallout 4 VR. We have some really incredible games that, and you know, right here we've got Stormland, a trailer for Stormland that is running on the screen. Maybe this is the killer app. Maybe the killer app is right around the corner. Maybe the killer app is Sunset Giant. Oh my God. Nah, I don't know. Yeah, we do not have a killer app in my opinion, but that's okay. That's okay. And you know, John Bardo has a very interesting point right here. The iPhone doesn't really have a killer app, and it has still sold billions of units. You know, the iPhone, texting is the iPhone's killer app. Yeah, but we had texting before iPhones, right? You know, everybody had their BlackBerry. Yeah, I don't know. So we don't really have a complete killer app yet, but that's all right. Okay, now let's see. Did I have anything else I wanted to get into? Okay, so that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what I got. And you know what's awesome, guys, is I've made it a half an hour off of pretty much smoke and mirrors. So that was wonderful. Okay, so now let's go back to our Webby browser. Let's go back to our Webby browser here, and let's go to, okay, where is my Vive subreddit? I don't see it. So I guess I don't have the Vive subreddit on here real quick. So let me go ahead and pop up the Vive subreddit, because let's go ahead and get into this VR is dead thing. Okay, so right now at the very top of the Vive subreddit, we have a thread. Linus has a new VR is dead video. Here's where I'm at with it. Okay, this is by our boy Facepalm. Why doesn't he have a video just explaining where he's at with it? But anyway, this has 477 comments, 728 upvotes. This is basically the big deal that is going on out there. And so he kind of breaks it down here. This is the video in question, and here are his thoughts about it, and he kind of breaks down all the different things that this guy talks about here. So what I went ahead and did, he does have Linus response here. Okay, so that's Linus's response to that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so he does have this nice breakdown. So Facepalm, thanks very much. I went ahead and co-opted your breakdown and decided to grab it so that we could have our full chat over there and not have a miniature chat. So I went ahead and grabbed it, and I went ahead and made a little graphic here. And the graphic is VR is dead, guys. Pack up your bags. VR is dead as a doornail. So let's go ahead and go over a number of these different points, and let's take a look at it. Let's see is VR really dead? Kev Gret says 30 minutes exactly. What a coinky dink. Absolutely. What an amazing coinky dink. Okay, so these are the thoughts on why VR is dead, or basically these were part of this video here. And I'm going to talk about the video itself when I'm done with all of this, but let's go ahead and run through these 11 things right here. Okay, so number one, VR requires high-end hardware. Kinda. I was about to say wrong. VR does not require high-end hardware, bro. I got an Oculus Go, bro. I got an Oculus Go right over there. I could pop it on my head, and I could get into Eclipse Edge of Light. I could get into Thumper. I could get into a Maze 3D, baby. And it doesn't require high-end hardware. We're talking 199 bones, and I am seeing Mega Braco inches away from me. That is the killer app. We've solved it all. No, but yeah, VR, it doesn't really require high-end hardware, because you could have a standard issue PlayStation 4. I'm talking not even on a PlayStation 4 Pro. You can have a standard issue PlayStation 4. You can play Astrobot. You can play Red Matter. You can play Beat Saber. You can have Farpoint. What about Farpoint? I just did a Let's Play of Farpoint. I was super late to the party with Farpoint. All of it looks good on a regular old school vanilla PlayStation 4, and there's like 80 million of them out there. So does PlayStation 4 equal high-end hardware? I think not, but I do understand the point. I understand the point. If you really, really, really want to get into VR, yeah, you do need a gaming PC. You do need an Oculus Rift or an HTC Vive or Windows Mixed Reality, because you want to have legit hand presence. You want to have a 360-degree tracking kind of a situation, and you want to have some kind of room scale. And I guess technically the Oculus Go and technically vanilla PlayStation 4 doesn't quite qualify for all of those things. So, I mean, you could say VR requires high-end hardware, but number one is debatable. Okay, number two, most consumers are turned off by weight. So this is kind of a situation where basically what he's saying here, and I agree with this one, like this one is really a legitimate issue here. Ultimately, what he was saying, like Facepalm says he's talking about weight here, but really what he was saying is he was saying that there's some people that just don't want to put nothing on their head. And that is true. This is very real. There are people out there, they just don't want to put nothing on their head. You know, I'm kind of one of these guys. I have no jewelry, no tats, No rings, no watches. I don't like anything on me. I'll never have an Apple Watch because I don't want things on me. I don't like things constricting me. I don't like rings. I don't like necklaces. I don't do any of that stuff, right? And I can understand you just don't want nothing on you. If you don't have to wear glasses, you don't want no goddamn glasses on your head. I understand all of this, but my answer to number 2 is eventually VR and AR is going to be so compelling that they'll sacrifice. They will sacrifice the comfort for such incredibly compelling experiences. They won't be able to deny themselves these incredible experiences. Okay, number 3, too much space is needed. I got a lot of space here. I'm good. No, but yeah, seriously, a lot of people out there, like, this is a real issue. Like, I'm not going to, like, a lot of people be like, no, you don't really need much space, man. You just need a small little area here. You know, if you can kind of turn around like this, you got enough space, you're good to go. I kind of disagree. There are people out there that will say, oh yeah, you could be in a really small bedroom, you could play VR. No, you actually do kind of need space. You really do. You actually do need some space. You really need kind of like 5 feet, like a circular diameter of 5. You kind of need like 5 feet with like no chairs, nothing to bump into, because you're going to smash into a monitor or something like that. And one of the things that Linus was talking about is, look, we got these big, gigantic PC rigs, these huge monstrosities that take up huge space. That's already taken up a lot of space. Your keyboard, your desk, all of that is taking up space. You know, you got a bed or a futon right there, or a chair. That's taking up space. There's not enough room for VR, brah. You know, that's one of the things that Strauss Zelnick was talking about. He's like, people are not going to dedicate a room to VR, and he felt like you really got to dedicate a room to VR. I don't know, he was kind of going a little bit overboard there. But I'm going to agree, this is actually a legitimate complaint. I think this is a legitimate complaint. You do need a bit of space, you really do. So I'm going to go ahead and say you're right on that one. Okay, number 4, not enough VR games. Get the F out of Dodge. Get the F out of Dodge. All you got to do is go to vrgamerankings.com. Take a look at the top 200 overall. Take a look at the top 200 overall, not Vive and not Rift. Take a look at the top 200 overall. We got PlayStation VR games in there, Oculus Rift, HTC Vive games in there. And you look at that top 200, there are a lot of damn good games. There's plenty of VR games. You can go to the top 200 Vive, the top 200 Rift. You can go to the top 100 PSVR. We got enough VR games. Now, if it's enough AAA, like legitimately AAA, what we're talking about here is we're talking about Lone Echo. We're talking about Fallout 4 VR. We're talking about Skyrim VR. We're talking about legitimate, like truly legitimate AAA games. Yeah, we don't have enough of those, but we've got enough games. We've got enough good games as well. Okay, number 5, tepid sales of VR HMDs. What does this have to do with anything? I mean, this isn't why VR is dead. Okay, so sales are kind of tepid. Like, what's your point, bruh? No, I'm just kidding. You know, I don't know. I mean, yeah, sales are a bit tepid, but I don't believe like sales are tepid of everything. Let's go back to 1997 when DVDs first came out. Let's go back to when like Blu-ray players and HD DVD players, it was tepid back then. Sales of the first iPhone were tepid. Everything is tepid in the beginning. You know, I don't know. That argument doesn't really hold a lot of water for me. Okay, number 6, can only sell so many units off Robo Recall. And I don't know why I have Robo all capital, and then I have the E and the RE in Recall capital, but I don't know what I did there. That was a mistake. That's what happens when you're making this 5 minutes before the episode starts. So Robo Recall, is that what we're saying is all VR headsets are going to be sold off the back of Robo Recall? Well, we have, you know, great. That's great that you mentioned Robo Recall. There's another big primetime game that we have. I didn't even mention that one. We've got Skyrim VR. We've got Fallout 4 VR. We've got Astro Boy. Astro Boy, okay, not Astro Boy, Astrobot. We've got Resident Evil 7. We've got a lot of good stuff on PSVR as well. So yeah, I kind of get what you're saying here. We don't have that killer app. That was what Cliffy B was talking about. And if you have to ask what the killer app is, you don't have it. I kind of understand this one. VR development is hard. Yeah, okay, VR development is hard. Okay, number 8, wireless adapters are starting to appear. Actually, see, I did all of this before watching the dude's video, and then I just watched the dude's video, and I'll talk about that in just a second. Okay, could be years till VR is a permanent fixture in homes. Sure, just like it was years before DVD players were everywhere. It was years before HD TVs were permanent fixtures in homes. Dude, I had an HD TV in the year 1999. 1999, I had an HD TV. HD TV was not a widespread thing until like 2008. 2009, it was like 9-10 years. It took a while. Okay, so it could be years till VR is a permanent fixture. Duh, of course it will be. Number 10, AR commands more attention. Yeah, buddy. No, I'm just kidding with that one. Okay, just kidding with that one. Yeah, no, I am a big believer in AR. I'm a big believer in VR. I'm a big believer in AR. I've said before that I believe AR will eventually kill everything. And I do believe that VR will be relegated to basically the equivalency of what home theater is right now. That's what VR is going to be. AR will kill everything. But I don't know what this has to do with the topic at hand. AR commands more attention. It's just the venture capitalists are really into AR right now. They've kind of dropped VR. They were super hyped into VR. They've kind of dropped it. And now the new shiny object is AR. Oh, VR didn't do what we all thought it was going to do as fast as we thought it was going to do it. So let's look at the next shiny object. Oh, that's AR. Yeah, let's get all hyped on AR. So that's kind of why AR is commanding all the attention. Number 11, half your paycheck is required to afford it. Again, this is incredible. Like, this is very debatable right here. If you've already got a vanilla PlayStation 4 in your household somewhere, and 80 million of us have that, you don't need half of your paycheck. You know, you can hit up eBay or Craigslist. You can grab yourselves a used PSVR system and you're good to go. Okay, so those are all the different topics that is in this particular thing that is going on over here. Okay, so now I wanted to mention the fact that I actually saw this video. So I was ready to do the show at like 11:30, but I'm waiting around for it to be noon. So I thought, well, hey, maybe I actually should go watch this guy's video. Like, maybe actually watch it and see what he actually said in the actual video that everybody is freaking out over. And you know what? I watched the guy's video, and John Bardo brings up an excellent point. Blockchain, baby. Blockchain, 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 chain. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, John Bardo. And 5G, baby, and 5G. But I watched this guy's video, and I was not outraged by anything, really. There wasn't anything outrageous by this guy's video. He did his video. Everything he said was pretty much okay and on point to it. You know, it was much ado about nothing. This is just another guy saying VR is dead. But this is just a great example of how freaking slow it is. News is slow right now, man. News is hella slow, so that's why this becomes a major, big-time story. I mean, look at this. Let's go back to the Vive subreddit. This has 737 upvotes, 478 comments. A lot of people out there are getting a lot of panties in the bunch. And honestly, if you really watch this video and just watch it without being like super pissed off and everything, it's not that big of a deal. I feel like I got to change my thumbnail. My thumbnail was me going like what? Like what the fuck? Like that was kind of my thumbnail. Like VR is dead again, huh? Well, that was before I watched this video. This is not even, it's not even that big of a deal. Like this is not a very big deal here. But you know, it is a slow news day. So that's what's going on here. We can see what's the number one response here. Okay, so the number one response is by Terra AI, 369 points. And here's his response. I think he just wants to say that VR didn't go mainstream as fast as people think it would because it's intimidating for most people. The title is just clickbait, and VR isn't really crashing. And yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much the reality there. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to my standard scene over here. I'm going to get off of this little thing here. I'm going to throw it on a rando. I'll throw it on one of my little trailer mixes. We'll go back to trailer mix numero uno back in the days. And let me go ahead and check out chat and see what everybody's been talking about, because I completely ignored chat. I completely ignored chat for like the last 15 minutes. So let's go back and see what some people are talking about here. Okay, John Bardo says Epic made $3 billion in profit on Fortnite last month. And that has nothing to do with VR, but yeah, it's an interesting topic there. Charles Van Nolan says, most games I'm standing in one spot anyway. Okay, so he's going back to the how much space you need. And Lethal Weasel VR says, I don't have much space. I do okay in my bedroom and living room. Well, yeah, if we start thinking about games that just use like smooth locomotion, like go anywhere locomotion, and you have snap turning, you basically can stand in one place, you can hold your controllers like this, you can snap turn, bang, 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 and you can push forward, push back, left, right, and you can basically just be rooted. Like your feet could straight up be rooted to the ground. You could be wearing cement shoes for all we know, and you could be perfectly fine. But that's not VR the way we really want VR to be. Like, yeah, we can do that, but I think you still want to have more space. I think you want to be able to, get down on the ground. I think you want to be able to take a step over here, a step over there. I think you want some arm movement. What if you're going to play Creed and you're punching, or let's say you're playing Sprint Vector. You want to have some space to be able to do this. So I believe you need to have a little bit of space, but I understand your point there. I mean, all we have to do is look at Gary from VR Roundtable. I mean, Gary is in a really small little space there in his kind of garage over there. That's for the UK audience, garage. Here we call it garage. But yeah, he's got a pretty small little space in there, but he gets by okay. He does all right. Let me go ahead and Rendered Reality says, I dedicated a room to VR. Awesome. I mean, this room is pretty much dedicated to VR. I used to have a projector right here, guys, and it projected onto that big-ass screen over there. I got rid of the projector. I actually removed the projector. Not only did I remove it, I sold it. I sold the projector. Why? Because when I got my HTC Vive back in April of 2016, I had those big-ass Vive wands, and you guys know how big those wands are. Those things are humongous. And I'm swinging around with my Vive wands, and my projector's like right here. And bam, right into the projector. I wanted to avoid that, so the projector went bye-bye. And I don't care about projectors anymore. I don't care about home theaters anymore. Because didn't you guys see my one video where home theater is dead? Home theater is so freaking dead. But everybody over there at AVS Forums that makes nice home theaters, and they buy OLED TVs, and they get these nice laser projectors, and they have like 25 big-ass speakers all over their room. Those people are living in a fantasy world, man, because it is dead. It is so freaking dead. That's why I gave up on the whole home. This is basically a VR dedicated room. So I have dedicated. Okay, Main Fan says, desks? Where we're going, we don't need no desks. Absolutely. And let's see, I'm trying to scroll through all these different comments here. So Rendered Reality says, I think Population 1 is going to help sell some headsets. Hell yes, it is. Actually, let me throw that trailer on the screen, because that is a badass trailer. Let me find the Population 1 trailer. Population 1... Here we go. Yeah, this trailer is freaking drop dead gorgeous. I mean, look at this freaking trailer. It looks so beautiful. It looks so vibrant. And you're going to tell me that I can basically play Fortnite in VR, because that's kind of what this is. Like, you're building, you're running around, you're creating this stuff. I think my kids, like, if it really looks like this, if it really plays like this, if it really has a good flow, my kids are going to want to play the shit out of this game. And see, they're not really interested in VR. I've tried to get them into Contractors. They won't even play Contractors. Can you guys believe that? Like, my kids have not even tried Contractors. I told them it's Call of Duty in VR. They still don't care. But this is Battle Royale. You know, this is Population 1. It's kind of Fortnite-ish in VR. It is by Big Box VR. These are the developers of Smashbox Arena. They did a great job with Smashbox Arena. I am hoping Population 1 kills it. Could this be our killer app? It could be. It could be. It could be. Okay, Person is checking in. Person says, I live in a small studio apartment and I manage a 12-foot by 9-foot play space. I had to rearrange my apartment and throw some stuff out, and I lean my bed up against the wall when playing, but worth it. Man, Person, you're going through a hell of a lot there. You should get one of those beds that like go into the wall and you like hit a button and then it comes out of the wall. Maybe you could do that. So anyway, I wanted to scroll back and look at Kev Gret says PlayStation VR has over 200 plus games alone. If we're talking about there's not enough games, and blah, 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 blah. You need a 5 feet radius. That's Charles Van Nolan. Yeah, that's where I kind of agree with that. Like, you kind of need about a 5-foot radius, I would say. Okay, Rendered Reality says when you are immersed, you literally forget something is on your face. Not quite. Maybe if you're playing Subnautica, you'll forget something is on your face. That's why Subnautica is so freaking cool, because Subnautica, you are wearing a VR head. I mean, in Subnautica, you have your VR headset on, but in Subnautica, you're wearing a freaking diver gear type thing, which is so freaking similar to wearing a VR headset. That's why it works perfectly. Greg's VR says, wedding ring? No wedding ring. I am married. You know what? Me and my wife, we had our honeymoon in Honolulu in Hawaii. And somehow I was on the beach. I don't know what happened, but like my ring slipped off and it disappeared. And I was like, F that. I'm never going to get a ring. My wife's cool with it. It's not a big deal. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Let's see. Narakal says, a new commenter in chat, haven't seen this one before, says VR is not dead and the Quest will help my mom and dad. Wait, let me read this comment in the right way. VR is not dead and the Quest will help. Okay, probably should be a comma right there. My mom and dad is waiting for a standalone. They almost bought Oculus Go, where I said wait for the Quest. It is closer to what I'm running on. They love it. Okay, that's a hard comment to understand here. So did they get an Oculus Go and they love it anyway, but maybe the Quest will make it that much better? King Hell says, also their own weight, the obese unfit. Oh no, now we're going down a scary road here. Okay, let's see where King Hell is going with them. Okay, also their own weight, the obese unfit don't want to run around in VR or sweat in a headset. That's a good percentage of the Western world. Damn, King Hell went down a bad pathway here. But you know what? That is kind of true. There are a lot of people that they don't want to get their ass up off the couch. They love the couch. They love that sofa. There's a lot of gamers that have been playing games for a long time, and they have kicked back on their sofa. Their sofa is nice and comfortable. They got their Xbox One controller right there, or their PlayStation 4 controller. They're sitting on their sofa. They got a big-ass HD TV that is like 60, 70 inches. And they're fine. They're perfectly fine. They feel really good. And you're telling them, hey, here's VR. Get up, man. Get up off the couch, bro. Move around. You're in the world. You're in the game, bruh. And yeah, some of these people, they don't want to do it. They don't want to move around. They don't want to get all sweaty. Now, my take on that, one of the things that I have harped on a number of times is I believe if we go about 20 to 25, King Hell says, gotta face the facts to solve the problems. That's funny. But I say if you want to go 20 to 25 years in the future, I think obesity is gonna plummet. I really believe this, and a lot of people think I'm crazy about this, but I believe that AR, it's gonna be more AR, but I believe AR is gonna be so effing compelling. There's going to be so many things you're going to be able to do in AR, so many little things you're going to be able to manipulate, things that are going to be so exciting, and they're going to link to that little dopamine thing in your brain. You know how like when you're playing Candy Crush or something, and it just triggers these little dopamine receptors in your brain, and that's why people can just play Candy Crush all day long or all these goofy little games, because it's just triggering that dopamine center. Okay, well, what we're going to have is we're going to have AR experiences where you're going to be standing up and you're going to be doing things, and it's going to trigger that dopamine thing. So you're going to really want to do it, and you're going to really keep doing it, and you're not going to realize it. You're going to be standing up all day. You're going to be walking around all day. You're going to be moving around. You're going to be doing things, and you're not going to realize it because it's so effing compelling. And Jim Hall says, you are out of your effing mind, Anthony. AR will not solve the obesity problem. Okay, well, that's my take. That is my take. You heard it here first. Let's teleport into the future 25 years and let's find out if I'm right or if I'm wrong. Because in my future world, everybody is going to be skinny as can be. Everybody is going to be perfectly physically fit. It is going to be awesome. It's going to be a wonderful world. Okay, maybe it's not actually going to happen there. But I truly, honestly believe that a lot of people are going to be moving around a lot more. And I know what people are going to say on Reddit. Like I've said this before on Reddit, and all the millennials, oh my God, they just rush to the thread and they say, no, you don't understand, man. Calories in, calories out, bro. Exercise doesn't do very much, especially this kind of exercise. If you're not running a marathon, exercise really doesn't matter, bruh. It's all about calories in, calories out. Well, I'm going to tell you this. When you are always moving around, when you are a much more active person, it's going to change every aspect of your life, including what you're eating and how you're eating. You're just going to be more active. You're going to be a better person. You're not going to be eating donuts all damn day long. So I really believe it is going to chop down obesity. But yeah, I know a lot of you guys are millennials and you're going to go to the calorie in, calorie out card. Okay, that's what everybody on Reddit does. So I'm off on my own island here. I know you guys don't believe me with that, but obesity is going to plummet. It's going to be beautiful. Alrighty, folks. Well, we have gone for over an hour here. That was fun. I enjoyed this, even though there really wasn't, like, honestly, I don't know why I have a thumbnail here where I'm like, I kind of have this look on my face. VR is not dead. It's not dead. And I didn't really need to do this. Because VR, the video was not that bad. It's not that big of a deal. Let's move on, folks. But this is an example of a slow news week, to be sure. Okay, so let me go ahead and get my little logo here and bounce the F out of here before all the calories in, calorie out people hammer me. That's what's going to happen. All right, so I am going to bounce out of here. Millennials. Yeah, you goddamn millennials. I'll tell you what, you goddamn Gen Xers. God damn it. No. Okay, but anyway, that's going to go ahead and do it for this particular episode of VR365. Now, did you like the show? Did you hate it? Well, either way, we got a button for you. We got this thing called a like button. We got this thing called a dislike button. Smash the living daylights out of either one. It is all good. Just smash it. Go ahead. Subscribe to the channel. I think this channel is pretty freaking dope, actually. I think this channel is awesome. We are providing a live stream every freaking day of the week. And it's starting to wear on me, folks. It's starting to wear on me. No, but we provide a live stream every day. I also include some Let's Plays. I did a Let's Play recently of Big Breezy Boat. You can get on a big boat. You can float in the breeze. It is very nice. There's like a sunrise going on. There's islands. There's ocean. It is a beautiful thing. I even saw a whale tail. Yeah, you're probably going to have to pause the video at exactly the right minute at exactly the right second to see the whale tail. But we're doing a lot of stuff on this channel, daily live streams, let's plays, all those good things. So go ahead and subscribe, stay in the loop. And then also, everybody leave a comment. We need some comments after these videos. Oh, you know what I keep forgetting to do? Check the mailbag. Okay, so I'm going to put that down. Actually, let me write it down right now before I forget for Sunday's show. Check the MFing mailbag. Okay, here we go. Check the mailbag, bro. Check the mailbag. Yeah, I haven't checked the mailbag in a couple of episodes. So we've got a lot of mailbag to get into. So I'll do that. Check the mailbag, absolutely. So that is going to do it for our show today. Now, tomorrow, reminder, VR Roundtable is back in the building. We've had quite a bit of a layoff at VR Roundtable, and we are going to have an episode tomorrow, and it's going to be exciting. It's going to be an exciting episode because we're going to kind of talk about the year 2019, what we're excited for, what we've been playing over the break. It's going to be a fun episode, so definitely tune in for that. That's probably going to start around, say, 9:05 a.m., maybe 9:10 a.m., right around 9 a.m. Pacific time. That is probably when that episode will get started. And our Sunday episode, Sunday Fun Day, is going to follow the VR Roundtable episode by about 10 to 15 minutes, because what happens is when that episode is done, I may have to go to the bathroom, I might have to get a sip of water, I might have to try to grab myself a banana real quick, and then hop on here and do a show for you. And then the last thing I need to say, Seahawks, baby, do it for us today. Seahawks, let's get the win. Dallas Cowboys suck. Everybody watch it tonight. It's about 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah, Seahawks are in the playoffs. We made it. Let's do it. Let's make another run for it, folks. And that's going to go ahead and do it for this episode of VR 365. I will see everybody tomorrow. Take it easy. Have a good one. Later.